All right, you done jotting?
Yes.
Oh, we're recording this.
Yeah.
So that'll be the intro.
Recording me jotting.
What the hell? My goodness, this is a big minute for you.
Oh, it's huge.
It's a transition minute.
It is. So why don't we start by saying...
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Bohmer! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
We've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the universe of Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Tom Lang.
And we bring you the news of 42 and the movie from 31 and all the stumbling around.
Around the country and around the globe, we bring you all the news of 1942's Frankenstein.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and we're talking about minute 32 of 42's All New Thrills Ghost of Frankenstein, in which Bohmer and Ludwig and Elsa. Well, she's not doing anything actually. Her role.
It may not
is to
even be her.
Yeah, true. At this point, it probably doesn't have to be. I guess my sort of general assumption of B-movie actresses is that if there's any physical abuse being placed upon them, it's them. It's like, why are you a B picture director if you can't torture attractive women?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to be said for that.
Just so we're clear, so I'm clear, I don't want to speak for you here. I want to make sure that I'm clear about myself. I don't condone that behavior.
No.
And I'm not. I wouldn't. I could see a reason to want to be a B movie picture director and not torture women. Yeah. We were just talking about your experience as a B. Well, what I'm going to call a B movie,
like a Z level
picture director, and then you were sitting next to Tom is a DVD, right? It's not Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Of a film you made. Did you take that opportunity? It's sort of a two-part question. I have a follow-up.
Two-pronged.
Did you use that opportunity to torture any actresses, A? And B, do I know any of them? Because judging from the back, I think I know somebody in there.
Do you?
Is Jane in that? Or is that, okay.
Yeah.
Did you torture her, is what I'm asking?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
No, the only people that got tortured...
Matter of opinion, isn't it?
Yes. She may have a different opinion than I do.
Okay, we'll have to bring that up. No, actually, I'll, by the time this airs, I will have spoken to her.
Yes, you will. No, the only ones that were tortured, I think, were Tim and myself, the
makeup
filmmakers.
Shit?
Huh?
A makeup shit?
No,
or
just the experience
all of it,
making it with like no money whatsoever. I think all told, equipment and everything, we spent about $13,000.
Yeah.
And I always say, we made a film under conditions that Ed Wood and Roger Corman would have found intolerable.
Yeah, I bet.
So.
But it's hard to really do anything.
Yeah.
Like you can try to do stuff and give up, and then you'd be like, yeah, I didn't wanna. But you actually do the thing. You've now actually done it. I'm guessing if you went to make if there's a pretty good chance this will happen. Someone will be listening to this right now and will call. They'll probably give you a call at home.
Okay.
Because you're on your home phone, and offered a couple, maybe $10 million to make a film. And then I think what you'll find is that it's also that way. Even if you have $10 million, it'd probably also be a nightmare.
You're talking about this because I watched the movie Duel last night, which is Spielberg's first film. It was a TV movie.
Yeah.
I think it was shot in like under 2 weeks. I'm amazed that they could do that. And I doubt he could do it now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
For that amount of time and the amount of money that was spent, he couldn't do that.
There are some good reasons why that's true. Yeah, you're probably right. Mostly, I was going to say just, working conditions generally, there are probably a lot more restrictions that are good for people. There's a lot of stunts. That movie's like a 90-minute stunt, isn't it?
Kerry Lofton was the stunt driver for the truck, and he was sort of the overall stunt coordinator, and he is meticulously careful. So no, there wasn't the slightest chance that anybody would get hurt.
Yeah.
Even under those conditions. Because it was a studio production. It was Universal.
What it made me think of is when they made one of those Mission Impossible movies, I think it was the first day or something, or the first day for this stunt woman, if she was a new stunt woman. She just crashed her motorcycle into a building and died. And it was like, you see all these stunts in these movies and you think of all the ways that somebody could get hurt.
Yeah.
She just blew it, and it sounds like it was her fault.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know. You never know.
Her
Anyway,
fault for
so the
being
point
in
of
a
all
shitty
this
movie, I
is
guess.
you're a B movie picture director in my eyes.
Well, and later on today, John and I are going to talk about making another one.
Oh my goodness. A sequel?
No.
Okay. All right. So then...
I was going to say we're to assume that because Bohmer hands her off to Ludwig, and Ludwig, they go off out of shot.
Drags her off.
I guarantee you, I would bet everything I own that as soon as Atwill lets go, her feet are on the ground.
Yeah, it does look that way.
There is no possible way Hardwick could have carried her himself.
I'll go along with that. Sure.
He's a middle-aged man. He's of slight build. She was a husky gal. That is not a criticism. But she
I don't know.
Cheney complained about it all the time when he had to carry her around.
I mean, I would say if I've ever met a woman that didn't want to be called husky, then I don't even want to know who that was. I think there's no woman I respect could possibly be offended by being called husky.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's the impression I get too. But luckily, then they're in a doorway and he goes.
He can just that's what I mean. As soon as they're off camera, her feet are on the ground.
Yeah. And within moments, probably her head because he probably dropped her.
Yeah. If you listen really carefully,
if you listen really close.
Thunk.
Actually, he looks back at one point. All right, so actually, this is the next thing that happens.
Well, the camera pushes in on Bohmer as he leans down.
As he crouches down.
Over Kettering's body.
Because he and Kettering are probably roommates. They probably live in the lab there. And it's like Ernie and Bert. Well, they do have deep philosophical discussions, right?
They do, yeah.
So he's life mate, maybe, for all we know.
We don't know, yeah.
Is in grave danger, and he gives him, I don't know, a quarter of a second before he looks up and sees something else that's much more interesting. Yeah. He, much like Ludwig looking through the window of the door, suddenly realizes that Frankenstein is on.
There's a Frankenstein laying there.
He's going to watch Frankenstein. Yeah. And that's all he does, is he then starts watching Frankenstein. Yeah. And we know this because we're watching the movie and we assume that's what he's looking at, because Kenton can't be bothered, because if you think about what these sets are like, generally this is probably true in movies always, I guess. Generally, maybe generally is too big, right. But it's not like this is an actual house. This room doesn't have four walls. You got the cameraman and the script girl. I don't know. I use the word man, so I wouldn't use girl. All those people. That was the term. That was the term.
Fairly recently.
Yep. And Jack Pierce, in case they need touch-ups, they're all sitting behind the camera there. Sure. And so if Earl says, all right, now let's do the over-the-shoulder shot so you can see what he's looking at, that's a whole different set. That's a whole different environment.
That's a whole day. To set that up.
Yeah, that would be hours to set that up. So Earl can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. So we just get
I don't think it's needed either. I don't think it's needed.
It's a little odd.
We know what he's looking at.
I guess.
No, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's all right.
His reaction is like, holy...
I guess his reaction is what's needed there.
Here's one for Mike and John Hazard. He's like, look, holy fuck.
Yeah, yep.
What the hell just happened here?
Yep.
Pushes in on him. I think it's an effective...
And to be honest, what occurs to me, Doctor Who has a thing for corridors. There are many, many, many episodes where the Doctor and at least one companion and probably some goofball they picked up along the way is running down a corridor, and then the next shot is them running back up the same corridor, but they move the camera a little bit, and it's like it's fine. Yeah. And they clearly could have done that here, because this whole space looks like if you just move the camera over a little, you could just show the monster laying on
I think that's done fairly common. That's not just
Doctor Who. Yeah. My point being, could have done it here. Yeah. Could have moved the camera slightly and had Lon lay down.
Sure.
But they didn't.
No.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I got plenty to complain about in this movie. I'm going to let this one go. Yeah. But then this is where we see Atwill react to the sound of Anchors' head hitting the floor in the next room. Yeah. Because he turns back. Yeah.
Well, I think he looks back like, what are you doing?
He looks back like, did you know there's a Frankenstein out
laying here? And this guy,
we're in a Frankenstein movie?
Supposed to have died 4 years ago, riddled full of bullets, is laying here too. No, he doesn't.
Has he
doesn't
met Igor yet?
He doesn't know who Igor is.
But has he met him yet? That's the thing. It's hard for me to remember going minute by minute.
We don't know because they haven't on film, but that doesn't mean they haven't.
I guess it seems reasonable that they probably haven't.
Yeah, within the reality of the movie, I doubt.
Well, anybody, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
None of this stuff is in the script, because in the script they follow him carrying Elsa and places her in that office that study.
Okay.
On like a sofa or something. And
which clearly does not happen here, unless you can get there through the lab. It doesn't seem like it.
I think so.
Unless it's like Clue, where you can go out one side of the board and come in the other.
Yeah.
Or I guess Son of Frankenstein, come to think of it.
A lot of the following dialogue happens immediately. And there's some key important things.
There's some key important things that we'll probably talk about in the coming weeks, unless you want to cover them all right now.
Well, no, as they pop up.
Yes.
So we do have a lap dissolve.
It's actually a thing that's going to come up. I have it on my notes for multiple times because of the way it unfolds.
Yep.
So stay tuned for more script analysis.
There we go. So we have a lap dissolve. Actually, it looks like it starts.
It is a lap dissolve.
It starts to fade because it gets dark.
Okay.
On Bohmer, it starts to get darker, and then it lap dissolves.
Okay. What does that tell you? More time has elapsed?
No, that they couldn't make up their mind. I don't know. I don't know if it's on purpose or just an artifact of the chemical process.
Oh my God! I didn't mention something from last week.
Oh no!
Well, I'm going to mention it now.
Mention it now, and I'll not bother to put it in.
No, don't bother. People at home who I'm sure there's a reasonably large contingent of our fans that make their own edits of the podcast. We got one guy cutting out all the F words.
Yeah.
When the film was running backwards, there were these flashes of light. Did you notice this in minute 31?
Yeah.
That whole section when it's backwards, there would just be an occasional flash of light, and I think the only what I should have done, first of all, Brett mentioned it last week. Second of all, I should have reversed it. How hard would that be to do on a computer?
Right.
I know how to do that. I could have reversed it and looked at it. Maybe you don't notice it going forward. Maybe it's just a backwards thing. Anyway, so nothing backwards here.
Artifact of the optical printer that they were printing it in reverse. I don't know.
You mean like printing it in reverse is in some way different? Because have you ever filmed in reverse? Have you ever made a film where something happened in reverse?
Yeah.
Yeah, so have I. What I did is, at least back in the day, you turn the camera upside down. All these comments should be in last week. But turn the camera upside down,
and then
film it upside down, and then all you gotta do is splice it in. You don't have to do anything special. So I would assume
that's not the case.
I know that's not the case.
No,
they're not turning the camera upside down to do that scene from last minute. I'm saying what's not the case. You're saying an optical printer printing something.
They're printing
in reverse.
the frames backwards rather than
they're just. I don't really know how the actual process of film printing works, I guess.
Well, things like a lap dissolve, a fade.
What I mean is you've got a negative, right? We're creating negatives. That's the filming.
It was filmed in forward, obviously.
Yeah.
So there's a device called an optical printer which rephotographs the negative. So if you're doing a lap dissolve, it will do it by merging the two things.
Yeah.
And you fade one out and fade one up.
Right.
I mean, now it's all done obviously on digitally, but back in the day, it was a technical thing.
Yep.
This device, and that would also then, if you're printing it in reverse, you're dropping frames to speed it up. You're doing matte shots. This optical printer would do all of that stuff.
Okay.
So it's basically rephotographing it.
We've reached that point.
It's rephotographing
it's like when I go to the doctor
in reverse.
It's like when I go to the doctor. I want the doctor to tell me absolutely everything there is to know about my knee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we inevitably reach a point where there's just something I don't get, and I just have to accept.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm going to now choose to accept is that there is a device, or was a device, called an optical printer that does magic shit, and I'll never understand it.
Okay. Perfect.
So then we lap dissolve.
Yes, we do.
To Rebecca.
Basically, it looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
It really does. Elsa wakes up in Rebecca.
Yeah.
Is this a dream? Maybe this is something to think about as we go forward. Is this
a dream?
This actual dream? Yeah.
Elsa's fever dream.
Is this whole movie Elsa's dream? Could be.
Could be. The whole series.
From here on out, right?
Yeah. She comes to with Ludwig and Martha at her bedside. They all look at Martha, and she's like, "Okay, I get it." And she picks up the tray and
she just looks over at the maid, and she starts getting ready to go. But she's not a maid, I guess. Is she the housekeeper?
Housekeeper, yeah.
She has a great presence. I really like this part. There's a lot about this movie that I just think is dumb and I laugh at, and that for some reason that when she comes to, the entire layout of this scene is very I don't know. I almost want to think it's like the Ghoul or something, but I guess Rebecca's probably better. Where you've got this she's all dressed in black. She's a very imposing figure.
Yeah. she sits up and asks the monster.
Yeah, that's her first concern. Is he okay?
Yeah.
He felt very hard.
Yeah.
I heard this. The last thing I heard before I went out was a
we think
very loud bang.
We think he'll be okay, though.
Yeah. He slammed into the door 2 or 3 times and then wham, right into the ground.
Did a header into the ground.
No, it does. I did laugh when we were watching it because it does seem like the way she says it, like, the monster? Is he okay?
Is he going to be okay?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. You're quite safe. He's powerless for the time being. Quite powerless for the time being.
Yeah. So he's a really cocky guy, Ludwig. Yeah. I'll give him that.
Well,
I think
that he throughout the whole
completely
movie.
All the time. He's got a couple of moments where he's scared because it's a monster movie.
Right.
We've seen one. We're going to see another one soon.
Right.
But generally, he's unflappable.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So quite safe is sort of a fluid kind of condition.
You know, he's one of those kind of guys that'll just say anything. Like you've worked with these people. They're like, oh yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. And then it doesn't work. And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What basically now it's your problem because now it's on you to say, hey, I thought you said you took care of this. No, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Right. So that's who he is. That's who Ludwig is. Doesn't matter.
He's that guy.
Doesn't matter. I said it's safe. If it's not,
yep,
you'll die.
Yep. You understand I had to expose you to the soporific gas in order to subdue the others.
Yeah, I wrote soporific because that's what he's soporific. He might be a little bit drunk, but that's fine. You know, it's hard to make
He's not
movies.
the only one. So.
That's a good point. He's not exactly a standout where that's concerned.
Yeah, no. His being drunk is kind of under the radar compared to something else.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. It's like I gotta say why that happened is because the Vikings are playing on a Saturday.
Oh, for fun.
Well, why is that happening?
Jesus Christ.
So I was actually saying this this morning, I think. This is exactly the type of movie that would have a sexy lady in a sexy outfit and in a scene where she's talking to her dad.
I hope Martha put her in the outfit.
Oh, boy.
Or was she in the outfit before?
Oh, my goodness. Well, she was in that Manos dress.
No, but when...
What do you mean, when? Doesn't she go right into the...
No. Sometimes she's got like a nightie or something on when...
does she? Okay.
When the monster...
That's back too far.
I know.
She must have been in this. No, if she was in this, I think I might have noticed, to be honest. There's something noticeable about it. I can't put my finger on it. Something noticeable about this night dress.
Yes. Soporific is to induce sleep, as in anesthesia or to treat insomnia. So apparently I take soporific drugs every night.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when something is considered a sop, have you ever heard the word sop used as a noun?
Yeah.
I take it to be that. I've always assumed it was that. And soporific is to placate. Like when someone says something is a sop in a movie, for example, it's like it's a sop for the fans. Maybe it's a phrase that never gets used, or maybe I made it up. But like a sop is something, to me it means placate, but whatever.
Okay.
I
actually looked it up.
Looked it up, so you're right, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soporific gas.
Send for Eric and the police, she asks.
Actually, what I wrote here was, he's powerless for the time being. I put, then maybe keep pumping in that soporific gas.
Yeah.
Because that worked.
It worked.
You know what else worked? Remember in the first film where Dr. Waldman got the hypodermic ready and jabbed him in the back and
5-grain
knocked
solution?
him out?
Yeah,
just saying. That's another one. So this is a theme for the monster. This is what we know about the monster, is he can be knocked out with hypodermic or with soporific gas.
In Bride drugs his wine and knocks him out towards the end as well.
Oh, true.
Just before the creation of the
Nice.
Bride.
Yeah, good one. Yep. Okay.
So there's does he get knocked out in Son? I don't think so.
He's knocked out when we meet him.
Yeah.
That's about it.
He moves no more.
He walks no more, isn't it? Walks no more.
Yeah, Ludwig shoots her down pretty quick.
Forgive me, Elsa, but I had to expose you to the soporific gas to make the movie better. I don't know. That's what I wrote here.
Okay. Send for Eric and the police. Ludwig shoots that down. The police can do nothing.
The police can do nothing.
Yep.
Well,
put him in jail yesterday, and he escaped. Look at him.
Is that a description of how that went down? I suppose that's a very
it's a very loose sort of, interpretation.
He was chained to a chair, and the police were there.
A chair that's not bolted to the ground or anything. It's
in my personal opinion, a great number of police were present.
Yeah.
describing them as unable to do anything is fair.
Yeah, no, that's apt. Yeah,
it really works.
It's maybe not how he means it, but I think it's a fair description.
Yeah. I was thinking, you can also beat the crap out of him, because he beat the crap out of him in Bride and got him onto the and tied him to a pole.
To a pole. They beat the crap out of him in this film too.
They beat the crap out of him in this one.
He comes down with Clothestein and her ball.
So he's really got a lot of kryptonites, this guy.
He does, yeah.
Yep. He loves kids. He doesn't. Yeah. He loves soporific gas. He breathes it right in. Hey, you got any more of that soporific gas?
Soporific gas, good.
Not everybody gets knocked out by everything. So it's good that the soporific gas seems to have such a...
Yeah, and Dr. Kettering?
Yeah, he escaped too.
Yeah. Well,
he escaped life.
We do know that, but she doesn't, because the minute ends as Ludwig looks down at his hands after she asks him about Dr. Kettering.
Yeah, Jackie actually said when we were watching this morning, he said, that's what I'm going to do next time someone dies. I'm going to just, when someone asks him, let's look down like that. Yeah. I do want to point out, no first name for Kettering. So these people seem to all live together. They seem to be, we are in Mr. Rogers' house, and then they live in the land of make-believe. And is there a better example than that? Probably. Let's call it Three's Company. And so they're all living together under one roof, but nobody cares what anybody's first name is that lives in the lab.
Bohmer, Kettering, they don't...
Bohmer, Kettering! And Elsa's no better. Elsa doesn't even say Martha. She just looks at her.
Yeah.
Like, what the are you doing here? Yeah. All right. No first name for Kettering.
Mm-hmm. Any more questions, wise ass?
That sound of me stumbling through my bull is can only mean one thing. It's time once again for got any more questions, wise ass? Is that better?
Yep.
Oh, and now it's finally loaded. Huh. Well, maybe this will be the next comment. Oh, you know what? Let's not do that.
What's going on?
I'm just terrible at this. I'm so terrible at it. Oh Lord, if you could see what just happened, you would just start wailing on me.
Oh, I'm this close already. Believe me.
I'm gonna go this way. Maybe it'll be on here. So what's today? No, that's not gonna help.
Today's the 16th.
So that was 31. So let's go to 32 and see if there are any comments. No comments on after all that.
All that.
Oh.
I have 5 cards, and you people can't be bothered to comment.
All right. This is. I have what I need.
Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. Nobody could think of anything to say about the soporific.
A lot happens there, and nothing. Okay.
And a sexy lady in a sexy outfit. Our listeners are
deeply disappointed.
Sound asleep. Sean writes, Tom's comment about the Abbott and Costello soundtrack. How do you say re? Do you say re : or do you just say the word re?
Referring
to Tom's comment about the Abbott and Costello soundtrack. I was thinking the new AI demixing technology they used on the latest Beatles single could be used to extract that from the movie.
That's probably very true.
Then I had another thought. How long before the tech is good enough to recreate the deleted scenes from Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman and the whole of London After Midnight? Seems such possibilities are not far off. Fire bad, AI good? Well, we'll see. So I have a lot of opinions about that. I think you're generally not wrong about anything you've said here, Sean, but I'll explain specifically why you are wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I just think that what you've then described is a completely different technological conundrum. The technological conundrum of I can hear this sound at the same time as this other sound. Can you make this sound go away and keep this other sound? Mm-hmm. Which is what enabled the Beatles single and would enable us to extract the soundtrack or the score, if you will, from Abbott and Costello. Yeah. They could probably do that today.
Yeah.
Recreating the lost scenes from Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, also I truly believe is something that can be done with AI technology maybe in about 20 years. Because you're doing that's a lot more that goes into that.
Well, and he said someday.
Yeah, and yep.
So to be fair, he's not saying we should go out tomorrow and recreate the
Because scenes. I know you love it, so I'm going to bring up Doctor Who again. And so Doctor Who has 97 missing episodes. They're just gone. We don't know where they are. And so what they've started doing is animating them.
You know this is all going to get cut.
The cost of animation has gone down.
Yeah.
So the cost of doing for me personally, everybody's got their own opinion. For me personally, crappy animation that I find unwatchable is now affordable and people buy it. They buy it in Blu-ray because it looks equally crappy then. And then they buy it in Steelbook. You know those steel books?
Yeah.
Nowadays,
I don't bother with those.
Every episode of Doctor Who gets a steel book.
Oh, every
it's
movie.
Insanity.
Scream Factory does that all the time.
Yeah.
The same old thing, but it's in a steel book for twice the price.
Yep. Now, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, London After Midnight.
Nothing exists of those.
Except the script.
Yeah.
Some stills. When you say nothing exists, quite a lot exists because we know where the scene takes place.
But no actual artifacts of the soundtrack.
The actual missing footage is completely gone.
Yeah.
But we still have, there's at least one shot in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. I'm looking forward to that minute. Where his mouth's moving, you know, so would be one.
Would one of those bad lip reading videos with that?
I guess so, but it's so short.
Yeah,
you know, it's probably not going to be hilarious. We're not going to be able to get a whole song out of it like they do in that.
Seagulls,
Yeah, seagulls. Yeah, they're a little crazy, those guys.
They did a recreation of London After Midnight with stills.
Oh, right.
I think they've done it twice.
That's what they do with a lot of these, Doctor Who's, is they they just show the telesnaps along with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But with London After Midnight, it never even had a soundtrack. It was a silent film.
Some silent films went out with a score. If it was at a big show place, they would have an orchestra.
Sure.
So they may have that. I know Nosferatu has the score.
Okay.
So
I did not know that, actually.
The one on Kino, I believe, has the score that was written at the time.
Interesting. I mean, I know that's true for a lot of films, but I didn't know that one. For some reason, I could picture that one.
Because that was a big event.
It was.
It was a big event when it was released, and that didn't last very long because they got sued.
They got sued. All right. Have we covered that one yet? Well, how much time we got?
No, we're fine. You got another one?
Well, I do, but I could do it next week. It doesn't matter.
Do you have anything for next week?
Yeah, I got tons, probably.
Well, do this one now.
All right. Wallace Matthews writes.
Oh, good old.
Hello, guys. Wallace Matthews here. Strangely enough. Love the podcast, but... this is always the best. The compliment sandwich has begun.
Here we go.
Love the podcast, but I must set you straight on Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Okay.
Any film that can pack all this into 74 minutes, that great opening scene, the nurse with the perfect manicure in some butt-fuck Welsh town, Cheney's drunken burp as they arrive at Vazek's Tavern. I've never noticed this.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Okay. The rubber icicle bending on Cheney's head.
Yep.
I've never seen this film. The singing gypsy. Well, okay, I know that.
Yeah.
And Cheney, that's actually something they do at Monster Bash, I guess. Every year they do the Festival of the New Wine. Yeah. Farla, I assume it's that. The singing gypsy and Cheney knocking over a stool, parentheses, by accident, question mark? Knocking over a stool.
That I don't know.
Is an all-time great. Prove me wrong. Now, here's my thing about this is I love hearing from people, and I love this comment.
Well, I know
it only brings me joy.
I know that's his favorite movie of the series, I believe.
Oh, is it? I know he's a big Wolfman guy. He wants to be involved in whatever we decide to do for the Wolfman.
Okay.
But I have no idea what spurred this on because we both love that movie, right? Or were you trashing it?
No, I wasn't really trashing it.
Oh, you were trashing
it. How it looks great. And I said, well, the opening scene looks great. The rest of it looks pretty good. I think I said something to that effect.
Interesting.
Now, I don't disagree with anything he says there, but I was making a different point.
Okay. Then everybody wins.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with what he says.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting a little long in the tooth. Sounds like Wallace could be the
new co-host.
The new co-host, because he's got a lot to say about that one. All right.
Here's the thing, though. If we do, you said getting him in to help with the Wolfman. That's why I think it should be just a one-time. We do a commentary or whatever.
Yeah.
One episode on the Wolfman prior to starting Frankenstein Meets the Wolf.
All right, well.
And we'll bring Wallace in because he knows this film obviously better than we do.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna do something else here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something else while you do that.
Actually, I like this. This is good.
Oh, you got it?
Episode 4.26, The Diary of Anne Frankenstein, which I think is pretty great.
I expected to get some pushback on that, but I don't.
I can't imagine who would give that pushback. Here's a comment from Patrick Flanagan. Tasteless title. ... So there you go. There's your pushback.
Okay.
We are tasteless.
Absolutely it is, which is why I did it, because I think it's hilarious.
And then the following comment. You know what's great is that I didn't do any of this on purpose. This is all working out perfectly, as if I'd planned it. Chuck then responds, perfect title.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried approved.
There we go.
Hey, so this is what it looks like from here. I don't know what that means. Whatever. Good. I think that covers it.
Okay, perfect.
Unless, I mean, if we are short for time, I do have other crap I could read too.
No, we're good.
All right.
Save it for later.
Save it for later.